सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। Close that door. I think we are in the 6th mantra now. आदित्यवर्णे तपसोऽधिजातो वनस्पतिस्तव वृक्षोऽथ बिल्वः तस्य फलानि तपसानुदन्तु मायान्तरायाश्च बाह्या अलक्ष्मीः। Somebody yesterday wrote me an email asking, by chanting this, will I be blessed by more of Lakshmi? By understanding the meaning and chanting it, will I be blessed by more of? And it became an email trail. So I said, did you listen to the meaning? I said, no. And if listening to the meaning, the question would not arise, because Lakshmi is not supposed to be seen only as wealth or as bank balance. And rightfully so, yesterday we saw Padminimim Sharanamaham Prapadye Alakshmir Me Nashyatam Tvam Vrane. O Mother, I have been striving hard to remove all the Alakshmi. Alakshmi is all these vices, unnecessary habits that we entertain because of our conveniences. Many times I ask the kids when I get into the classroom, because it's a morning session, Balavihar, did you take shower? I get such varied answers. So one kid very confidently said, yes, but the face didn't look like it. So I said, when? Yesterday night before I slept. So then I casually met the parents sometimes later and I asked, can't you change that habit? Oh, it is just 12 hours in the morning. They wake up, brush their teeth. It starts. Alakshmi starts there. All these kinds of conveniences, habits that which we develop and yield to our own conveniences. This is Alakshmi. O Mother, teach me, enable me to lose these bad habits. Would you want to stay in an unkempt place? See, I keep taking people from here to Yatra and it is funny observation. They don't mind sleeping in a place which is not up to the mark, because that is what is available. But they are very picky about. The first question that I usually get asked, are the toilets clean? We ourselves don't want to use or be in a place which is not clean. And if our habits are not clean, would Lakshmi ji want to stay there? Oh Mother, help me clean up. Let me relearn the rightful ways of, the righteous ways of working. In fact, one of the Phalashruti, the first shloka says, Yashuchih prayato bhutva juhuyad ajyamanvaham shriyah panchadasharchancha shrikamas satatam japet. Yashuchih prayato bhutva. Having purified oneself. Now that can be explained in multiple ways. Having purified at least to start with in a physical level. Having purified with the intention. The intention of acquiring various kinds of resources. That has to be also pure. Mana, vak, kaya. Thought, word, deed has to have that purity in it. In fact, I heard one Mahatma speak that Yashuchih prayato bhutva, that kind of wealth acquired which has had its share given rightfully so to the government in the form of taxes, and that which is considered as white, with that money alone I worship you, O Mother. He went into that kind of explanation, Shuchihi. So after having said that, Aditya varne tapasodhijato vanaspatistava vrukshotha bilvaha tasya phalani tapasa nudantu mayantarayasya bahya alakshmihi. O Mother, Aditya varne, Aditya varne, the varna, the attribute is that she glows like the sun. Now you cannot suddenly catch hold of the poet here and say, come on, decide for yourself. Is it Chandra Varna or Surya Varna? So my answer is, it depends on how you approach. You approach with devotion and righteousness, then she has the cooling effect. And you go with unrighteousness, she has the scorching effect. When you go to your parents and you have done something wrong, is it that the parents have changed their mood? No, you have to yet to reveal things to them. But don't you feel scorched from within? But here it is a different meaning. We'll get to that after we see the word meaning. Aditya Varne, the mother who shines like the glowing sun. तपसोऽधिजातो वनस्पतिस्थव वृक्षोत बिल्वः. It is said that because of her tapas in the Bhuloka, Bilva Vriksha has grown. The Bilva tree has grown. People are scared as much as it is pavitra to have tulsi at home, it is equally pavitra to have bilva at home. Bilva Vriksha is the place where she resides. Lakshmi ji resides in Bilva. Parvati resides in Tulasi. Saraswati ji resides in Amla. The what do you call it? Gooseberry. So she stays in there. And with her tapas, the Bilva Vriksha grew there. And various Puranas have different stories. We will get to that part. Tasya phalani tapasa nudantu mayantarayascha bahya alakshmihi. Tasya phalani. Tasya phalani. Here we will take it as a simple meaning. The phala of the Bilva Vriksha. Bilva phala. Tapasa nudantu mayantarayascha. May it remove all the effects of Maya, ignorance, antascha bahyacha. Maya, antara, yascha, bahya. And what is its effect like? Alakshmi. All that which is inauspicious, all that which is alakshmi. And for that, what is the seeker ready to do? May I be blessed, tapasa nudantu. May I be blessed in such a way that my tapas is so vigorous that it will, with your blessings, uproot all the effects of ignorance. So it is not that we are seeking grace or blessings from Mother to do the sadhana. That is the difference between a seeker and an ordinary person. An ordinary person does everything else in life and leaves the sadhana for the God. And they end up saying also, sadhana will happen whenever God permits. And they leave it to that. Whereas a seeker takes a complete responsibility of fulfilling that sadhana, and whatever happens in life accepts it as the blessings of the Lord. A huge difference. So the seeker here is asking, "O Mother, I may fail. My mind is very wobbly in nature. It's very fickle. So give me that strength to do this tapas, so that inside and outside all kinds of maya, ignorance is removed, uprooted, which leads to all this alakshmi." Now we go back to the meaning. Mother in the form of Bala Tripura Sundari, or even in the Lalita Sahasranama or various Devi Stotras, is always described as Balarka Koti Sadrisham. Arka is Lord's son. Balarka just rising in the horizon. What is the color? See, some of the beautiful, gorgeous sunrises and sunsets I have seen in this country. See, back in India also you have sunrise and sunset. It is also beautiful. But the panoramic view that you get, because of the angle, I don't know why, it's amazing, the color. So that kind of golden hue, Balarka Koti Sadrisham. In Lalita Sahasranam it starts with Sindhura Runa Vigraham Trinayanam. She is of that color of that, the rising sun, which is of that Sindhura color. So, you say Aditya Varne, how is she? She is of that golden color, shining with that amazing hue. Aditya Varne Tapasodhijato Vanaspatistava. Tava tapasa, by your tapas, you have given to this Bhuloka a sacred plant. It is called Vanaspati. See, though it is like a vriksha, it is called a Vanaspati. Vanaspati, herb. So, what is the definition of Vanaspati? In Sanskrit, that plant is called a Vanaspati, which bears fruits without having flowers. Did you know that? And Bilva Vriksha is one such. There is no Bilva flower. It directly starts producing fruits. And it has got high medicinal value. Like Tulasi, like the Tulasi plant, which can be used. There are I think 16 or 17 kinds of Tulasi, which in English they call it basil. All of them have equal, there's slight differences of impacts of its effect. Similarly is the Bilva. So that Bilva Vriksha, it is said that she did the tapas, and as she was doing the tapas, Lord Shiva gave her the darshana and said, right at the spot where you have done tapas, because of your tapas shakti, that plant which I like, which I really love, will be born right at that tapasthala. And that is how Bilva Vriksha came in. There is, Agni Purana, it says that Sri Devi took the form of Kamadhenu. And when she took the form of Kamadhenu, she was grazing on earth, and that place where the cow dung falls, there was a Bilva Vriksha born. So, born from the Kalpa Kamadhenu, Bilva Vriksha is also considered as the Kalpa Vriksha. There are so many things that it benefits. Just the leaf, if you can eat those 3 leaves daily, raw or dry, it does not matter. It can reduce sugar, blood pressure, cleans up the veins, meaning all the plumbing work also is done. When the tubes and other things get clogged, you pour that little gel and it releases. So, Bilva leaf does that also. So, one Mahatma said, very casually he mentioned, he said, in that list also add that it glorifies your skin. Don't patent it, okay? Meaning it gives beauty to your skin, luster to your skin as well. Because there are some skin allergies and things like that. Bilva leaf helps. Tridalam, it has got 3 leaves. And those 3 leaves are considered as Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara. This comes in the Devi Bhagavatam. And the stalk that connects these 3 leaves is considered as Adi Parashakti, from whom all the 3 have expressed, meaning Parabrahma Swarupini, from whom the Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, the creator, maintenance and recycling departments have emerged. Then in the Brihadharma Purana, which I said, she does the tapas in the Badrik ashram area, where Lord Shiva had Kapala Moksha. He had taken away one head of Brahma and he had to go around to fill his begging bowl. And that Kapala of Brahmaji fell in the Badrinath area, right behind the temple today. So there she did the tapas and she was blessed with the Bilva Vriksha. And in this world, in the form that we can, tangible form that we can worship, Bilva Vriksha is the abode of Lakshmi ji. So when you find a Bilva Vriksha, go give a tight hug to Lakshmi herself. Remember, it has thorns though. And there are many tantric practices with the Bilva leaf. Now, whenever I say tantric practices, don't get your eyes popped up. It has been wrongly or misused term with a very narrow meaning given, very shallow meaning given to it. Tantric practices, there are 2 kinds. One is called the Vama Marga and the other one is called the Dakshina Marga. So the rightful method, which is called the right method. The right methods, what does Tantra mean? There is a fire pit and then there is this Jatadhari and doing some kind of kuch. Is it that Tantra? There are 3 words to remember. Mantra, Tantra and Yantra. Mantra, Yantra, Tantra. What is a mantra? Mantra is a formula. A plus B whole square. Right? A square plus B square plus 2AB. Isn't that the formula? Of the 3 variables, you have been given 2 variables. To find out the third becomes easy. You apply the formula. The child maybe in 6th or 7th grade is introduced to chemistry and comes back home and stops talking normal language. Mom, get me H2O. Testing the mom. Does she even know what H2O means? So the mom also throws the child off. What kind of thermal capacity do you want? What? Do you want it hot or cold? Room temperature or cold one? Don't think that I don't know what H2O means. Not yet convinced. Mom, can I have some NaCl? The mom says, do you want the rock salt iodized or the black one? I say, wait, hold on a second, I thought there was only one kind. You asked for salt and I have different kinds of salt. What are these NaCl, H2O? Formulas, mantra. Easy way to remember things. And application, by applying which, trayate, different problems are solved. And you have to apply the right formula in the right place. You cannot use some other formula. You have to know where to apply it, how to apply it. It's a formula, mantra. Yantra. Yantra means a tool, an instrument. While we do the puja, there is this panchapatra, and there is this small little glass with water, and there is a spoon called uddharina. The spoon also has a name. And then you pour that water, clean your hands, and take 3 times achamya. So that spoon, what is it? It's a yantra. It's a tool. On more deeper significance, in the temple we have one particular, round, actually oval shape, black in color. Okay, right, Shivalinga. What is that? That is also an instrument through which we train our minds to reach to that ideal which is represented through that idol, that vigraha. A more sophisticated is when there are certain diagrams, there are certain, blueprints. So the Shri Yantra, Rudra Yantra, Lakshmi Yantra, these are all the tools through which you propitiate, you invoke the blessings. So mantra, yantra, and the process to use that mantra efficiently along with the yantra is called, the processing is called tantra. Do you know how to use a computer? Yes or no? Okay. So you are computer tantric. The one who knows how to use, the one who knows how to process that particular instrument is called the tantric. I am trying to demystify the word tantra and tantric. If you go into these bookstores, Barnes and Noble, there's so many books on Tantra, which uses the mantra through the process of japa. And there is such a mysticism added to it, mysteriousness added to it, and it is all used mostly in the negative. So don't get carried away. You are a Hindu, you should know these words better. So whenever if I end up using the word tantra, don't start imagining. Tantra is a technique, is a process. What we do here as a puja is also a tantra. So don't misunderstand that word. So in the tantric processes, they use this bilva for various kinds of phala to achieve. Tasya tapasa phalani mayantarayascha bahya alakshmihi. Now here he says, O mother, strengthen me to reach to that phala. Through what? Through the tapas. Now let us understand the word tapas. Tapayati iti tapaha. That because of which you boil, burn to come to the essence of it is called tapas. So you are to drive daily to downtown, both times going and coming, it is the rush hour. You are doing your responsibility going to it, or you are doing your job. You cannot end up saying, I am doing the tapas of driving to the downtown up and down with such heavy traffic. That cannot be called as tapas. There is a different word for it. What is tapas? Tapas is when you consciously, willingly take a step or a move by which something which you are comfortable with, probably crave for or addicted to, you consciously give up. That act of giving it up is called tapas. Have you been to Banaras, Kashi, Varanasi? Have you been? There, on the shores of Gangaji, you are supposed to give up. And it is such funny thing what all people give up there. There is one fruit called datura. Nobody eats that fruit anyway. And people are ingenious, they give up that fruit. Oh mother, I give up eating that fruit. When did you start eating it? In fact, what has to be given up is something that which you are hooked on to. Some comfort zone has to be shaken up. That is called tapas. Again, the purpose is not to torture the body, mind or intellect, to just shake it up from its slumber of conveniences. I'll sleep only on thorny bed. Why? I've given up the comfort of bed. Okay, fine, sleep on a hard floor. It should not be torturing the body, mind or intellect, but it should shake it up from its comfort zone. Such should be the tapas. I'll tell you more practical tapas. Every day while you are at dining table, if your capacity is to eat 7 chapatis, who eats 7 chapatis? Okay, whatever is your capacity. The first round of burp, stop there. Make that as a conscious tapas. Sleeping on a right time, make that as a tapas. Waking up early, make that as a tapas. Not wasting time in front of the idiot box. Or the idiot screen, whatever it is. I thought it was only in India. People were hooked onto these insane TV series. I was at somebody's house for satsang. After a satsang, all that the ladies were talking were only that TV series. So that is when I realized, oh God, even though it is thousands of miles away, still it has caught up here also. And they are like, kyunki saas bhi something. There was once the mother-in-law was once the daughter-in-law too. Bingo. She is at least aware of it. We're constantly talking about wasting time. Keep that tapas. No nonsense. Eating on the right time every single day. Keep that as tapas. Rain or shine, breakfast, lunch, dinner, without fail on that particular time. Keep that as a discipline. In between, no junk. Keep that as a discipline, keep that as a tapas. Waking up early in the morning, have a tapas of doing yoga abhyasa, have a tapas of doing japa. These are beneficial tapas. For the next 21 days, I will have my left hand up. Kya fayda? For the next 21 days, I will walk on one foot. I will keep hopping. You are not a kangaroo. You have been provided two usable legs in a stride. Do something which is beneficial. Oh Mother, give me that Shakti to work on this tapas so that all the alakshmi, bad habits, vices can be removed, uprooted from my life outside and inside. Let me make my heart worthy of your stay. Somebody can argue also. Mother has to accept the child as the child is, right? I am like this only. Oh Mother, accept. You also as parents, it's not that you don't accept your child as is, but when they don't straighten their act, don't you whip them into action? Don't you? So if you do it, it becomes tapas. If she does it, then it is terrible. She will rub it in every angle possible to smoothen us out. Okay, Mom, don't get angry. Give me the strength so that I do this tapas of cleaning myself both inside and outside. Because the basis of all this is the ignorance. May I remove that ignorance. Maya antara yaha bahyacha alakshmi nudantu. May that tapas be strengthened by you so that I can remove this ajnana. The effect of it is it creates the duality of inside and outside, I-ness and minus. May that be removed. May I evolve to such a way that I be of a worthy servant unto you. May I clean my heart in such a way that it is worthy of your residence. So now, the effort that you have to put for the Mother Divine to reside, are we ready to clean ourselves up? See, the Navaratri time too, the significance of those 9 days, there are different traditions that are followed, different ways of performing those 9 days, but the most authentic one, that which you see in the Puranas, is the first 3 days you invoke Mother in the form of Durga Devi. Durgatim nashayati yasa Durga. The one who completely uproots all these bad habits. So we invoke her, we seek her blessings so that I am cleaning myself up from within. Once cleaned, that is when the second stage, the second set of 3 days, I invoke Mother in the form of Lakshmi Devi. O Mother, please, now that I have made myself worthy of your stay, come and reside in all your formats. Dhana Lakshmi, Dhanya Lakshmi, Saubhagya Lakshmi, Vijaya Lakshmi, Virya Lakshmi. In all your formats, come and abide. All the positive qualities are nurtured. All the negative qualities are removed in the first 3 days. Positive qualities are nurtured, strengthening thus by those 3 days of nurturing good qualities, positive qualities, values. In the last set of 3 days, I invoke Mother in the form of Shuddha Vidya, in the form of Saraswati Devi, for I have now cleaned, equipped myself, now qualified for the final step of acquiring Atma Vidya. Thus, having acquired that Atma Vidya, on the 10th day is the day of celebration, the day of victory, Vijaya Dashami. All that we do is 10 days of elaborate cooking. It starts from this Navaratri all the way up to mid-January. Weight putting on season. Winter comes, we put on weight. Right? Cook elaborately, eat elaborately. No tapas of whatsoever. Have the tapas of not hurting anybody deliberately with your thought, word or action. Even if there is somebody hurtful, trying to be polite. Because in the initial stages, it is only to be trials. You cannot suddenly become, this side, okay, now this side. So we invoke Mother in that form, so that the inner and outer confusions of Dvaita Bhava is removed. antar bahischa, both kinds. Now in this mantra, the Rishi is Ananda and the Chandas is Trishtup Chanda, and the deity worshipped is Sri Mahalakshmi. Lakshmi is the deity invoked through this particular mantra. Now moving forward, in the 7th mantra, Upaitu mam devasakha kirtischa manina saha pradurbhutosmi rashtresmin कीर्तिमृद्धिं ददातु मे उपैतु मां देवसखः कीर्तिश्च मणिना सह प्रादुर्भूतोऽस्मि राष्ट्रेऽस्मिन् कीर्तिमृद्धिं ददातु मे. This is a bold claim of the sadhaka. He says, Pradur upaitu mam devasakha kirtischa manina saha pratur bhutosmi rashtresmin. I have now come to your abode, your kingdom, Rashtresmin. Meaning what? The sadhaka is confidently claiming that I have worked on myself with the tapas, that I have created the heart in such a way that it is worthy enough of your residence, your abode. Do we have that confidence to claim, Mother, I have cleaned up nook and corners of it, shining, ready. Come. See if there is some special guest coming. Like last year, after these Balavihar sessions ended, Guruji came in. In spite of all the notices, emails that had gone to all teachers in all sessions, in all volunteers to keep, poor ladies, they had spent whole day, 1 day or 2 days, to clean up every nook and corner. Why? Somebody special was coming. Don't we do that when during the, say, marriage, your daughter or your son is getting married, the whole house gets repainted, all things are rearranged in a user friendly manner. They are not piles of things, but they are filed things. Everything is in its proper place. Why do we do that? So that it is worthy enough, appropriate. See, here the sadhaka is claiming that pradurbhutosmi rashtresmin upaitu mam devasakha. Devasakha is another nickname for Kubera. So what is Kubera's job? Kubera is the treasurer of the Swargaloka. He keeps the entire treasures under his control. So, upayetu mam. May that Kubera's blessing also be there on me. These are called Devata Parivara. So, whenever you invoke Lakshmi ji, don't you, when you invite somebody for your functions, parties, don't you send them the RSVP saying that invitation for your entire family? Only after coming into this country I have seen odd invitations. No children allowed. कहाँ पे लटका क्या है? Have you seen such invitations? It's a party but only for men. It's a party but only for women. Usually when there are big festivities, what do you say? Inviting the entire family and friends. Similarly, when Lakshmi ji comes, she comes with her entourage of sevak, parivara. And one of the pramukha in that parivara, you could say her right hand, is her treasurer, the one who maintains the treasures. Upaitu mam, may that Kubera also, meaning I open my doors not just for you but for your entire family, especially that Kubera. And he is called Deva Sakha, the friend of the Devas. Why, we will see it later. Upaitu mam Deva Sakha kirtischa maninasaha. I invoke and open my heart even for your parivara member Kirti. Kirti is also, one meaning of it is fame. The other meaning of it is, Kirti is a amsha of Lakshmi ji, who comes along with Lakshmi. Some God-forsaken place, some unknown person buys a, how do you pronounce it, lotto, and suddenly wins few millions. All the newspaper, all the media, all the channels, all the blogging, instantly, don't they become famous? Lakshmi comes and she comes along with Kirti. Kirti is her amsha. Maninasaha. There are 2-3 meanings for this mani. One meaning is, like Kubera is the right hand of Lakshmi ji, Mani is the right hand for Kubera. He is the one who takes care of that specific department of the Navaratnas. Keep stock of it. Don't go by the form of Kubera. Externally, he does not look that welcoming. In Bhagavatam, somewhere the description comes that he is short, stout. When he smiles, there is a nice set of teeth, but when he laughs, that is when you understand that there is an alternate upper and lower teeth. Can you imagine? That means there are gaps throughout. When he smiles, it falls right in place, that there is a row of teeth, but when he opens his mouth, there are gaps. Alternate teeth are missing. And you will not know which direction he is looking. Meaning he has a squint or cross eyes. And he is dark in complexion, and he has bow legs. But in spite of all these deformities, he does severe tapas. Such severe is his tapas that Lord Shiva appears to him, and the first thing that he does, because of his sattvikata in his nature, that he picks him up and gives him a good tight hug. And Kubera wants to bend down and prostrate to Lord Shiva. He says, no, somebody so sattvic like you is not to be at my feet, but to be sitting next to me like my friend. Everybody here will have one or the other form of deformity. Physically challenged, emotionally challenged, intellectually challenged, or all of the above. Let us not waste our time crying about counting how many problems we have. We will have problems. Getting upset because of these problems is not a solution. The ability to get up and set it straight, that is what is Kubera representing. The most sattvic form of tapascharya. In spite of his deformity externally, he rose to that level of sattvikata that Lord Shiva himself came. There are many who want to come and befriend me, but I want you as my friend. Imagine what sattvikata, what pure hearted he must have been. Such purity I invite into my heart. Kubera is not just somebody who is the storekeeper for wealth. He is the representative of purity. Along with you, O mother, I invite that pure Kubera also. And your Amsha, Kirti. Upaitu mam devasakaha kirtihi maninasaha. Manina can also mean that Lord who is constantly wearing the Kaustubha Mani. And in Bhagavatam, that same Mani is described in a different way. So, may I invite that Mani also. Mani, jewel. Mani can also mean that person who is in charge of the Nava Ratna. Now, Kirti is supposed to be the Amsha of Lakshmi ji, born unto Daksha Prajapati, daughter of Daksha Prajapati. Do you know whom she was given in marriage to? She was given in marriage to Yama. So, she is Mrs. Yama. Yama takes away everything except leaves the legacy of his wife. That is why when we are living in this world with Shodasha color, 16 different aspects, when we die, 15 of them are gone. Now what is left behind is our Kirti, provided if we have done anything worthwhile which can remain for that level. Now imagine in your own family tree. Of course, it would be absurd to ask, do you know your father? Of course. Do you know your grandfather, grandmother? Yes. Do you know your great grandfather and great grandmother? How many of you know? Very good. How many generations from you? 3 generations. Now parents of those great grandfathers, great grandparents, do you know? 99%. We don't even know their names. We don't even know what they did. As you rightly put, vaguely, if at all. Very vague. If right in our own family, we don't end up remembering our own 3rd or 4th generation, do you think anybody will remember us? था यार कोई. The tapas should be so strong that we leave a legacy for the posterity to look at and be inspired to tread that path. It is not for the purpose of leaving a legacy. It is that I have lived such a great life that it inspires, and then through that inspiration, the Kirti continues to exist. So in the posterity, there are 2 kinds of people remembered. Those who have Kirti and those who have Apakirti. Do you want to be remembered as that person that you know the entire generation feels, I don't want to be that? See, when you look at ancient past, you have Rama and Ravana. So what are we constantly taught? To live like whom? Rama. And not live like whom? Ravana. And as recent as a past, there was Hitler, there was Gandhi, 2 different time frames. When somebody goes haywire, we nickname them as Hitler. Don't behave like Hitler. And whenever we talk of inspiring, we talk about Gandhi. Even in this country, there are many such examples that can be taken. Kirti mruddhim, kirtischa maninasaha. I invite my heart, which is now clean inside outside, for you, your Amsha Kirti, Devasakha, your right hand Kubera, Pradurbhutosmi Rashtresmin Kirtimruddhim Dadatu me. May I be blessed by that Kirti and riddhi. Riddhi, prosperity. When will we prosper? Prosperity always flourishes on the strong foundation of righteousness, dharma. It takes long time for it to show its shoots, root and its branches. Why? Before it can shoot into a plant, it takes deep roots. So, prosperity should not be immediately calculated. I also do, they also do, they get so much, why am I not getting it? Prosperity is not to be understood only as different layers of luxuries that can be acquired, but it is calculated with the mental peace that comes along with. That is truly called prosperity. We have everything, but we don't have that mental peace. Then it is not considered as prosperous. Whether you look into Chanakya's Arthashastra or into Manusmriti, prosperity is always explained. That which brings mental peace is called prosperous. We have everything that can be called. So, all the so-called developed nations, because they have good roads, good infrastructure, good economy, stable economy, lots of accessible luxuries, and that which does not have all these are either put in the into a frame of developing or underdeveloped. But if you look at it from the scriptural standpoint, the parameter, the bottom line to check is how many of them are peaceful within, at peace within. That collective peace shows the prosperity of a nation, of a community, of a society. Kirtim riddhim dadatu me, samriddhim, may that samriddhi be reflecting in my mental peace. We have everything, but if we don't have mental peace, does it really matter what we have? In fact, the cry at that time is, I have everything that I can think of, but I have no peace of mind. What to do? Recently there was somebody said the same thing. I said, I have a good solution, but you will not like it. No, Swamiji, you tell me. I said, if you want to have mental peace, donate everything to Chinmaya Mission, you will have mental peace. He has not given. Well, I can give you another proof. I have given up everything. I am happy. I am at peace. Oh, Swamiji, you are talking too extreme now. I am just giving an example. Kirtim riddhim dadatu me, may you bless me with that kind of kirti and riddhi. Prosperity is always counted or checked the amount of peace that one cherishes. Without that peace, if we are constantly broken into pieces, what good is that prosperity? It reminds me of the dialogue, the famous dialogue. गाड़ी है, बंगला है, तेरे पास क्या है? Truly, माँ है. माँ meaning, देवी माँ. What movie was it? हाँ, दीवार. मेरे पास माँ है. We may have everything, Baba, but if we don't have that mental peace, it's not worth it. For this particular mantra, the Rishi is Kubera, and this mantra is in the Chanda of Anushtup, and the deities that are worshipped is Mahalakshmi again in this particular mantra. Now the 8th mantra, repeat after me. Kshut pipasa malam Jyeshtha Lakshmi Nashayamyaham Abhutim Asamriddhincha Sarvam Nirnuda Me Grihat Kshutpipasa Malam Jyeshtha Lakshmim Nashayamyaham Abhutim Asamriddhincha Sarvam Nirnuda Me Grihat. And he says, by your grace, O Mother, I shall get rid of all the effects of Jyeshtha Lakshmi. Yesterday or day before we saw who is Jyeshtha Lakshmi. Lakshmi's older sister. She is married to Mr. Kali. And she is exactly opposite to all that which is represented by Lakshmi Devi. So wherever there is Jyeshtha Lakshmi, there is Kshut, Pipasa, Malam, all kinds of disturbances. Kshut, difficulties like hunger, thirst, and all the misfortunes. Now let it not be misunderstood. Misfortunes ending up or meaning as bad luck. There is no bad luck. There is only choice. How efficiently we use it and how inefficiently we use it. Every intersection has a choice to be made. What choice do we make? There is a path of right. And then there is a path of, no, I don't call it wrong. I call it path of easy. Whenever we have choices, there are choices between these two. Path of right and path of easy. Kathopanishad very clearly says, Shreyascha Preyascha. There are two paths. Shreyaha, the path of right. Preyaha, the path of easy and conveniences. Don't need to answer me. But in most of the cases, whenever we cross that intersection, what do we end up choosing? I said, don't answer. Because I know. Because the truth is one, and what we may end up saying is an entirely different one. There is a natural tendency psychologically to choose the path of convenience. The natural tendency. That ability to not make a right choice yields us step by step towards abhutim. Bhuti is to prosper, abhuti to lose all that which we have as prosperity. And we are inviting, making the house, making the heart, the residence for Mr. and Mrs. Kali. With Mr. and Mrs. Kali, there is Kaliyon mein bahar nahi hai. You should know Hindi to understand that joke, Baba. I can't translate it into English. Even if I did, there will be no fun in it. And then don't blame God that God has created this misfortune for us. That's one, if I may say so, stupid concept. There is no logic behind that concept. If while making choice our hands were tied down and we were forced to pick one, and the result of it can be blamed on the one who had tied our hands. And the funny psychology of human being is when they are in troubled times, they don't remember all that which they have done which they shouldn't have done. And then they start claiming such chastity and purity. You know, I have not hurt even a single being in my life. I have not hurt anybody, I have not done anything wrong. That is where Hindi, there is a saying, हाथी के दिखाने के अलग और चबाने के अलग. Elephant has two sets of teeth. One for show, the tusks. The other one for chewing. What we show is one glorified self-esteem. His Highness, HH. And what we are is also HH. His hollowness. Outside it is His holiness, inside it is His hollowness. दिखाने के अलग और चबाने के अलग. So there is nothing called bad luck or bad fate. It is the result of our own choices that we have made. Can we effectively go into the past to change it? Nobody has that scope. We pray and invoke Mother's blessings so that give me that strength. Though I cannot undo my past, in spite of these Alakshmi or Jeshta Lakshmi around me, give me the strength to step by step correct myself and grow out of it. And everybody gets that opportunity. There is no partiality here. Everybody gets that opportunity. So here what is he asking? There is this beautiful prayer which I may have repeated almost in every yajna. It is called prayer of serenity. You may have known it already. O Lord, give me serenity to accept that which I cannot change. Give me the strength or courage to change that which I must. And the last one is the punchline. Give me the wisdom to know the difference, what to change and what not to change. 20 years of Shastra Manana. The understanding of that particular prayer or poem is that the wisdom part, the understanding part. What can be changed in this world? Only myself. What cannot be changed in this world? Anything that is other than myself. The world outside cannot be changed. The change has to start from within. The sooner it dawns on us, or the day it dawns on us, a seeker is truly born. Until then, we may be doing different processes of sadhana, but without a seekerhood. There is no seeker born yet. It is just a feel good factor. Okay, today I have done my puja. I lit a lamp, I put an agarbatti, feel good factor, done for the day. Seeker is truly born on that day when we understand that it is not the outside world which has to be changed, the change has to begin within me. Did I tell you my silly experience in one of the restaurants here? I go there quite often, and I went there alone. And he knows what exactly I need, what I don't eat. So he calls that as a Swami special. So as soon as he sees me, he orders that. So I get it. So one day I went there alone and I gave him a $20 bill to pay my, and he must have forgotten totally. So I waited there for 5-10 minutes and then went to him, knocked on his shoulder and said, "Hey, where is my change?" So he looked straight into my eyes. "I thought you are a monk. Change should come from within." I said, "Good one, Steve. I want my money back." I totally forgot. But that was a good one. Change should always come from within. But what do we expect? We expect everything, everyone, every circumstance around us to change. That is where we lose focus. Kshut pipasam alam jeshtham alakshmim nashayamyaham. Give me the strength to remove all these Jeshtha Lakshmi and her effects. Abhutim asamruddhim cha sarvam nirnudame grihat. May all the misfortunes, may the prosperity be brought in by removing all these unfortunate things which is done by my own wrong choices. Let me strengthen myself. O Mother, give me that strength to change myself and correct myself. Once you start understanding the meaning and depth of this mantra is when we realize that it is not just talking about some prayer, flimsy prayer for just raising some dollar value or bank balance. There is much more deeper here. We will see the further meaning of this tomorrow. Today is what? Wednesday or Thursday? I don't want to rush. In a sense, there is Durga Suktam also promised. So let us see her grace, how it flows. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.